Welcome to the unsleever. Today's video is a new episode in a series in which I am reviewing and comparing different pressings of the same albums. You can check out the other episodes I did on Mariah Carey's Merry Christmas album and the Whitney Houston reissues. Today I'm talking about an artist very dear to me whom I miss very much, Aaliyah. I will be unboxing and comparing vinyl editions of One in a Million, Aaliyah, I Care For You and Ultimate Aaliyah. Stay until the end of the video to find out the best sounding vinyl for each album. This is the original pressing from 1996, which was only released in Europe. This album was pressed in Germany and it comes in a single sleeve and a printed insert. This has been the template for subsequent represses in recent years. The sound of this pressing is amazing, with a deep bass, a lot of clarity in the vocals, and detailed mastering. Overall, a really crisp sound. The next one I have here is a bootleg from 2019, also from Germany, although there is not much information about it. I managed to get 2 copies, one of which comes with the original hype sticker. I have the feeling it came out of the same pressing plant because the replica is extremely well done, down to the labels and the insert. This was done before the reissue campaign, so sourcing the high-quality files could only have been done by someone who had access to the originals. The sound is almost exactly the same as the original pressing, with only a bit of sibilance in parts. Very impressive overall. Next up is the Urban Outfitters variant that comes with some differences in printing, but more on that later. It is essentially the same packaging, only with redesigned labels. This variant was probably pressed in Canada, although I couldn't confirm this, and it's advertised as Green Galaxy, but my copy is basically a green Coke bottle color. The bass is deeper than in the OG pressing, and the volume is higher overall, although this one comes with some inner groove distortion. Finally, the Black Round pressing, also from Canada, and it sounds the same to me as the Urban Outfitters one. Some annoying sibilance in a few songs, but gorgeous green and black splatter. Let's look into the main differences between each of these pressings. The image quality on the original pressing is grainy but clearer than on the reissues, and overall has a softer look compared to the more contrasty look of the other 3. The image quality on the bootleg is actually better than on the reissues, although the tones are the warmest out of all of them. For the back cover, the scan lines are visible on the reissues, with the bootleg version having a better image quality but being a bit blurry. The best overall is the original pressing once again. The insert is the same design throughout, with only some changes in color temperature, and the Urban Outfitters is smaller than the rest. Not sure what happened there. Label has been redesigned for the reissues, veering away from the classic Atlantic label design. Moving on to the self-titled album, I have the original pressing here. This one came with Try Again, which was missing from the US pressings. It comes in a gatefold with credits. This was likely pressed in Germany, like many albums at the time, but I couldn't find information on that. The sound is amazing, with a wide soundstage and great dynamics, although sadly it does suffer from inner groove distortion. The next copy in my collection is this bootleg from 2021. It came out of nowhere, not sure where it was pressed, although likely in Europe. This one comes in a single sleeve and tries to replicate the back cover. There is a printed insert with photos and an essay, but no credits anywhere. Each disc was randomized and I got one in orange and one in purple. The labels are a fun design replicating the front and back cover. The volume is lower than the OG pressing, and while it corrects some distortion, it does appear in other parts, like the beginning of Rock the Boat. The bass is super strong, which makes it different to all the other pressings. Then we have the Vinyl Me Please Essentials from 2022, pressed in the Czech Republic. It comes with this beautiful gold embossing in her name and album's logo. Really thick paper and the same gatefold design. There is this detail I like a lot, which is the inside of the gatefold coming in this muted dark red to go with the album's colors. It includes a lithograph and a booklet with an essay. Sadly, no photos in the booklet, but I imagine it would be difficult to license those. The pressing is really beautiful, and in terms of sound, it does correct some of the distortion in the original pressing, but it's not as dynamic. Finally, the black ground pressing made in Canada. Packaging is the same as the original pressing, but labels are redesigned, also seen in the BMP version. The red gold splatter vinyl is gorgeous, and I think it fits the album really well. The sound is almost identical to the Vinyl Me Please pressing, but it has a slight edge over it as it is closer in dynamics to the original. Putting them side by side, we can see that they are all different from each other. The original pressing is softer and the image is higher quality than the others. There is a matte finish in the original and Vinyl Me Please pressing, while the bootleg and black ground variants are a bit glossier. As you can see, there are also differences in color for each of them, probably due to a mix of image processing and different printers. The gatefold has a pitch tone in the original pressing, with the reissues going for a more natural look, while still looking different from each other. I think my favorite here is the VMP one. For the back covers, the same differences in color as the front cover, and the design has remained pretty loyal to the 2001 original. Finally, the label design in the reissues stayed pretty much the same, with only the lettering color changing. I Care For You is the iconic compilation that came out a few months after Aaliyah's passing. This original pressing only got a release in the UK and includes her name embossed in gold. There were many different CD editions at the time with slight variations in the cover, and the image in the back cover was actually used as the front cover in early editions of the album. The sound on this pressing is amazing on both discs, very well balanced and loud without sounding distorted. The blackground reissue already shows a difference in the cover, with the background being black and the photo a bit zoomed in. This one was also pressed in GC Media in the Czech Republic. The back cover comes with her name and album title in gold emboss, and the gatefold has been cleaned up, with the 3 Aaliyah photos having a cleaner cutout and no credits. The sound is pretty close to the original, although I noticed that All I Need and We Need a Resolution sound a bit compressed. Also surface noise on At Your Best and some clicks on Miss You. The last pressing is the Urban Outfitters variant made in Canada. The cover is again showing small differences, with the ornament in the front and the lettering appearing bigger. To me, this pressing sounds a bit more compressed and lifeless than the other two, with the same issues as the reissue, although Miss You sounds cleaner. As I mentioned, all covers are different from each other, although they all come with gold emboss. Image quality is not great in either of them, although the Urban Outfitters pressing is airbrushed to hide the bad quality scan. For the gatefold, I already mentioned the improvements of the reissues over the original pressing, although there is a color change. The OG goes for a gold tone, while the background for the reissues is more of a tan color. Back cover is almost the same, although the original doesn't include the name of the album or any gold emboss. Label design has been completely redone for the reissues. Finally, the Ultimate Aaliyah compilation, which came out on vinyl for the first time in 2022. This copy was pressed in Canada, and what I love about it is that they kept the trifold design that the CD had when it was first released. It's a very minimal but gorgeous design. The tracklist has some welcome additions, especially in the second part, with some of her collaborations being collected here, but there are some misses such as Journey to the Past or the single versions of Hot Like Fire and The One I Gave My Heart To. Finally, the tribute song is such an odd inclusion. If they had to use a tribute song, I would have preferred the beautiful Think of Aaliyah by Boyz II Men. The sound is pretty good, although I found sibilance in some parts, like in The One I Gave My Heart To. There is a Target exclusive of Ultimate Aaliyah that is exactly the same, also pressed in Canada, but it comes in a gold nugget color. I couldn't notice any differences in sound compared to the black pressing. Even though they were both pressed in Canada, I wonder if it was the same plant or if they were pressed at different times, as I noticed some differences in color temperature, with the Target one having more magenta than the black ground pressing. So how would I rank these pressings? If I focus only on the sound quality and how I enjoy the most listening to these albums, I would place the original pressing of 1 in a Million at the top. Number 2 would be the bootleg, number 3 the Urban Outfitters pressing, and last would be the black ground green and black splatter pressing, even though this is my favorite in terms of looks. For Aaliyah, I think the original pressing wins, with black ground pressing a very close second. At number 3 the Vinyl Me Please edition, and finally the bootleg. With I Care For You, I also prefer the original pressing, leaving the black ground pressing at number 2 and the Urban Outfitters at number 3. Lastly, Ultimate Aaliyah, they are both equal, so I will put the Target edition at number 1 just because of the gold nugget color. That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed this comparison of the short but very influential discography of the great late Aaliyah. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, see you next time.